Well, a lot of people looking forward to this EA Sports game that's coming out, I believe, July 19th. I would not be numbered among those, but a lot of people are. And there's been a lot of discussion this week and a lot of criticism of the various rankings on both sides of the ball. And as it pertains to USC on the offensive side, we are looking at Lincoln Riley on the left, but we are looking at USC ranked, what, 25th?
And what this person did, I can't, you guys probably on TV, that his name, his Twitter handle's there in the middle. I can't read. It's too damn small on my screen. But what he did was he put the yards per play right now, which is a great metric of offense, and scoring, and the yards per play would probably be two of the better metrics. And USC was ranked third in this power ranking. And then everyone's going to be quick to say, well, yeah, because they had Caleb Williams last year, and this year they don't. Lincoln Riley has scored less than 40 points in a season as a head coach one time in 2021, and he scored 39 points in that season. So his offenses have consistently been among the best. If you took it, which is not really the best stat, but if you get total yards, he's the lowest he's ever been was that same year. He was ranked 8th in the country. The last couple of years at USC, he's in the top 3, and I'm not sure exactly what their thinking is. Again, it's a video game, just like a lot of these simulators. I see some of you guys out there in the chat getting really mad about these simulations that go on the internet. They're simulations, you guys. If you watch, you're seeing what I was watching about 5 minutes of it just for fun. And I'm watching Miller Moss run the option 5 or 6 times. I'm saying this is probably not the offense that's going to be run this season. One, because Miller Moss probably won't make it through the first quarter if he runs the option 8 times in a row like the simulation was doing. But also, it's supposed to be entertainment. And this is a power ranking for a video game. And I'm sure what they do is they try to balance it out, right? If you look at the defensive rankings, USC's defensive rankings are actually better than their offensive rank. I think they're like 16th. So USC's come out of nowhere from being like one of the worst, barely in the top 110 teams in defense. And now all of a sudden they shot all the way up to 16. I think that anyone that's taken these too seriously might be a bit disappointed when the season starts. It's just a video game. And I don't, what's disturbing though, is if you look at the blurb that they have, they talk about how they poured over, piles of PFF rankings and data and statistics to come up with all this stuff. And yet they came up with USC being the 16th best defense and the 25th best offense. I don't know. It's just kind of surprising to me.
I don't put any kind of stock in these rankings, but I'm just wondering if in the age of NIL and the transfer portal, if something like this is going to feed into any kind of narrative or perception about the actual strength of a program. I mean, I can't imagine that it's going to have any meaningful effect on recruiting, but there's so much absurdity to go around in college sports that I'm wondering if this ever becomes any sort of talking point in some household or in some conversation. But I don't think it is, but you never know.
Right. Yeah, I just thought it was kind of interesting, and it did seem a bit weird. I mean, to anybody, if you want to talk about USC's defense, let the arrows fly. But if you're really going to talk about a top 10 offense and not have Lincoln Riley's USC Trojans in a top 10, and that's being conservative, I don't know. I think that's clearly there's some bias involved, is all I'm to say. I don't know if they do the power rankings as a whole, so they're just trying to make a hierarchy of teams for these simulations. Matt, I'm with you. I really don't know what the purpose of this is, but just looking at the teams that are above USC for the defense, for the offensive side of the ball, that they feel that that there's going to be a better offensive team. Like, do we really think that 80% of those teams above them are going to have better offenses than USC and Lincoln Riley? I don't know. It was all over Twitter. People were all up in arms about it. But I think too much time. Really, I think we're giving it more oxygen than it deserves even right now. But it is a big thing.
USC is going to have a better offense than NC State. They're going to have a better offense than Texas A&M. And I'm not even talking about or mentioning teams that they should have a better offense than. I'm going to bring up the most obvious situations here. SMU, Memphis. Now, it depends on how you consider rating group of five. If you're rating them against their schedule, they may have better numbers. USC is going to have a better offense than Clemson and Utah.
USC's got a better offense than most of the teams on this. If the question mark we have, we know they needed to fix the offensive line, and was Miller Moss an aberration? But we can only go off of what we've seen. You know, a number of the teams that are ranked ahead of USC have new offensive coordinators, have new quarterbacks as well. I mean, that's one thing. You know, I mean, how good is LSU? They have LSU at what? I can't see the numbers. So I mean, what, 2, 4, 6? You know, with the replacing their quarterback. USC's receivers are far better. I think the running backs are on par, if not USC's are better. I mean, I'm just looking straight across the board, almost every position except for offensive line. But even then, we don't know how good this offensive line is going to be for USC. I think this offensive line could be one of the better offensive lines in the Big Ten. I really do think it can.
I could make an argument for 75% of the teams above USC. I'm not saying that they're better offensively. I'm saying I could make an argument for them.
Mark, do you see this offense, USC, being outside? Let's say the top. Let's be really let's be super conservative. You think this could be outside the top 15 offenses in the country?
Well, we have to take into consideration. Are you just talking about yards per game? That's the metric we're going by.
I would say yards per play and scoring.
Okay, yards per play and scoring. Their schedule is going to factor into that, of course. And they are playing at Michigan. They are playing Wisconsin and Penn State. They don't see Ohio State, Oregon. They don't see Iowa, 3 of the better defenses in the conference. So they've got a formidable schedule. And Notre Dame, who I think is going to have a top 10 defense in the country. I would bet that USC is going to be top 15 in offense. I'm not overly confident in that prediction, but I would certainly lean that way.